Shut the door with her mouth. Okay. No, Dustin. Go. Go. Go out.
I think we're live. Yep, I think we're live. What's up? What's up? Anybody out there? I'm gonna post this link in Facebook real
Bring this
fast.
down. Pull that down.
Are you gonna log in on mine or yours? Chatwing.
I'll do mine.
Okay. All right. So, guys, anybody that's out there watching, don't forget to log in to the chat. If you're on your phone, well, I'm about to put the link in the Facebook group for those who are on their phone. So, give me a second.
Hey there. I see Jessica and Stephanie.
Hey.
Hey, y'all.
So you want me to put this link in the group, right?
Yes. I can actually probably do it.
Well, but you don't have the link. You can talk to them while I'm...
All right. So, hey, ladies. How y'all doing? I see y'all in the chat wing. All right. We got Letitia. Thanks for joining us. How you doing? How you doing? Happy Sunday. We're just getting everything together. David's posted a link in the group for the webinar. So so when anybody is joining us, they can just click on the link and go ahead and jump right in. So if you are joining us, just make sure you log into the chat wing and just say hello so we can know that you're there.
All right. I think that's done. Okay, so you wanna get started?
All right, so welcome everybody to our second live chat, not live chat, but webinar. Of course, we're always glad for you all to join us. We're glad that we got enough people to do the webinar today. So basically today we're going to be talking about, standing strong during this holiday season. Of course, you all know that Thanksgiving is coming up in just a few days, so I'm sure that you all are really excited about that. But we just want to give you some encouragement and tips to be able to make it through this time, as we know it's going to be very difficult. So welcome everybody. If this is your first webinar, we're glad that you're joining us and excited to share with you today. For those of you who were on the last one and who normally join us on our calls, welcome back, of course. And so we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to talk about, again, a few tips and tools to use, during this holiday season.
Yeah, and before we, I guess, give those tips, I just want to say thank you guys for, viewing in today. I know it was kind of an impromptu webinar, but we want to get used to doing webinars, and we want to get you guys used to being on webinars with us. And so the only way to get good at them is to practice. So we're practicing. You guys are our guinea pigs. So we appreciate you guys viewing today's impromptu webinar. But Mandy, you want to start? Well, okay, before we do that, I'll just say this. The holiday season is one of the most difficult times for standers. And obviously for, the reasons that, are obvious, like you're going to be around family and friends. If your spouse is out of the house, people are going to be asking about that. You will see other couples together, your kids, all of the family activities that usually go on during Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so it's difficult, right? And you may find yourself feeling alone, feeling embarrassed, feeling overwhelmed, and, feeling isolated. And so we want to just kind of encourage you first by saying that, during the season, those emotions are going to be normal.
Right.
So don't necessarily feel bad if you are feeling guilty or sad or depressed or lonely or anxious or not necessarily excited about getting all the family together like you usually would, because it's normal. It's normal to feel that way. And so Mandy's going to talk a little bit about, some things that you can do to mitigate that. And then, we'll move from there.
Okay, so like I said, I'm going to go over a few things with you. The first thing that we want to talk about is taking opportunities to give. And I know that sometimes we're thinking, well, I don't really have it to give. And, I don't know if I really want to even be around people. But actually giving love to other people is a way to be able to get healing for yourself. And that was something that I found when I was standing for my marriage. Not everybody knew that what I was going through and what we were dealing with. Mm-hmm. But when somebody came to me crying and they were discouraged, I encouraged them. And, I gave them hope and I prayed with them. And there was something about it that brought healing to my soul. Mm-hmm. And it made me more confident in my faith to stand for my marriage and to love my spouse unconditionally, David unconditionally. Yeah. And so the more I poured out, the more I got. And so try not to take on that mindset of, I want to just be a hermit and, just isolate myself. But, just even ask God for opportunities, to open opportunities to, like I said, give back, whether it's volunteering. I'm sure that all of you probably know that there are going to be several opportunities for you to be able to volunteer with soup kitchens or just even give back to families who don't have anything. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't looked anything up, do that. Take some time to do that. And for those of you who have children, this would be an excellent opportunity for you to be able to take your children and teach them about the concept of giving back to those who don't have anything. And like I said, this can be a very healing experience. So I really encourage you to do that. And then even another way to give back, you all know we have over 1,400 standers in our group. So, maybe go into the membership and look at all the people who are, standing in the group and reach out to somebody, and give an encouraging word or a prayer and say, hey, I don't know you. I don't know your situation, but I just want to, just thank God for you and your, the fact that you're standing strong and you're brave and you're following what God is asking you to do, to love unconditionally. Mm-hmm. And so again, take those opportunities to plant seeds of love. It's not that giving is getting in the habit of giving and giving, without expecting something in return is something that you have to practice over and over again. Because a lot of times when we think of love, think about when I say, David, I love you.
Oh, I love you too. Was I supposed to say that?
But no, what the concept is, when we tell somebody we love them, what do we normally expect? Them to say, I love you too.
A response.
And then what happens? If they don't say it back, what happens? We get offended or we get our feelings hurt. And so that just kind of, and we all do it. We all have done it. And so it kind of reveals our heart about the concept of love. But giving unconditionally or giving without, looking for something in return is something that we should practice to do. And what better time than to do that now during the holidays and during Thanksgiving time. Mm-hmm. Okay. So again, the concept of giving is something we really want you to consider and get into.
That's a good point.
You got anything
I like that. Well, I mean, you kind of summarized it, but the whole concept of understanding our motives, like, why do I say thank you? Do I say thank you to get someone to say you're welcome? Why do I say I love you? Do I say I love you for you to say I love you too? I mean, understanding the motives, I think that's really key because it helps us become stronger and it helps you to stand stronger if you understand your motives. If you are doing things just to get it in return, you probably aren't doing it for the right reasons. Right. And so making sure that you understand the motives behind what you're doing. And when you're giving for the right reasons. You're giving to give and not to receive or get something back. Mm-hmm. So that's good. Good point.
Right.
What else?
So another one is making plans. So of course, during this week, I mean, a lot of you are going to be off work for maybe 2 or 3 days, maybe even more, maybe a whole week. And so I know, again, a lot of people are dreading that time, by themselves because maybe, I know a lot of people are separated. I know that some people, you know, maybe the spouse is not going to be there, maybe because they're, you know, at work, or maybe you're really living like roommates right now, and you all are not interacting, or maybe you're not planning to spend the holidays together. So make plans. You know, if you have supportive family that you want to be around, and you want to spend time with, you know, make plans to go and spend time with them. Make plans to get out and about with your children if you have kids. Maybe even, you know, plan a girls' night. You know, if you have friends in the area, you know, or guys' night, if we have, you know, some of our men on the call, plan a night where you all get together and go you know, and go somewhere. You know, so make plans now. It's Sunday, so you still have plenty of time to plan things out. You know, again, getting out and about, do something fun for yourself, and something, you know, that's going to be relaxing for yourself. You know, a lot of times we take care of everybody else but ourselves. I was talking to a young lady on a coaching call just a couple of days ago, and I said something to her, and she said it really, you know, stuck out to her. And I asked her, I said, what do you do when everybody, you know, everybody in your house is sick, including you? What do you do? She thought about it for a second, and she said, well, I suck it up and I take care of everybody else. I said, okay. I said, so you take care of everybody else, but you don't take care of yourself. I said, so basically, what I want you to start doing is, regardless of pain, regardless of what you feel like doing, I want you to start making the same type of sacrifice to take care of yourself and to love on yourself. You know, because you cannot give what you do not have. And I say that all the time in the group, and you know, you all hear me say that all the time. So just like you sacrifice for everybody else, you need to sacrifice for your own health, and for your own, you know, mental and emotional, you know, health. Okay. So whether it's getting a massage, whether it's going to the movies, taking yourself to your favorite restaurant, going and buying yourself a pair of new shoes, whatever it is that you're into, plan to do something for yourself. But literally plan it. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to go do something. Take all these different things that I've suggested and make a plan. Get out and do something. I know that just depending on where you are, it may be snowing, it may be almost blizzard weather, just depending, but you can still get outside. And
if you down here in Florida, we got that sun.
we're not going to rub it in.
No, we're not going to rub it in.
But again, make a plan. Make a plan for this entire week, so that you are not sitting at home and your mind is wandering, and you're brooding over the negative. But you're able to actually, you know, do some things that are going to be fun and uplifting for you.
Yeah. And, you know, that's a very strategic thing to do, because, you know, you're going to be around a lot of family and friends. And, you know, if you're there by yourself or with the kids, your spouse isn't there, there may be times when everybody is maybe with their loved one and you're by yourself. And so what better way than to have a contingency plan in place, or a backup plan in place, so that you already know, if these moments come where I'm the only one, I'm the third wheel or the iBot, that I'm gonna have something to do. Whether it's, you know, I got something scheduled at this time, or I brought something in my purse, or whatever the case may be, you have a plan in place so that you're not falling into depressive thinking or habits, or moments where you're more susceptible to being depressed or sad. So I think that's a really good tip to really keep in mind, is to have a contingency plan in place. Right? You're protecting your time, and you're preserving your time. And not only that, you're protecting your stand, right? If you know Aunt Junebug gonna be there, and she usually asks those questions about, you know, stuff that she don't really need to be asked, and then that's a good opportunity for you to plan ahead and say, okay, when there's a moment where it's me and Aunt Junebug in the room, I'm gonna make sure I got an exit strategy in place, right? So that I'm not being in a position that's gonna compromise my stand or my motivation, right? So good.
Right, definitely. And I mean, just to piggyback off that, always talk about making sure that you're guarding your eyes, guarding your heart. So, I mean, we can't reiterate that enough. If you are standing for your marriage and you are believing God for the restoration of your marriage, for your personal healing, for your spouse's personal healing, and again, the overall healing of your marriage, you don't need people around you who are going to be, you know, speaking negatively about your spouse. You don't need people around you, you know, telling you, you know, that you should leave, and that, you know, what God isn't saying to you, you know. So again, make sure as you plan ahead, you know who you should be around and who you shouldn't be around, who is going to pressure you into trying to make a decision about your marriage that's going against what God is saying to you about your marriage. You know, so you want to be, again, around people who are going to pour into you, who are going to encourage you and be optimistic about the situation that you can relax around and you can have a good time with.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes. So
good stuff.
Yeah.
What's
you got
next?
Anything else you want to add?
No, you. I mean, you hitting home runs with this. So, what's next?
Okay, so I'm going to dive just a little bit deeper. Another thing that you can do during the holidays is you can write and journal. So that's another thing that you can do. If you know that you are in a pretty stable place emotionally and you can handle the time, that you have alone while you're off of work and you don't have a lot going on, take some time to write and journal. I think a lot of times we talk about how good God is and we talk about, the victories that we're having, but writing it down and having it somewhere that you can refer to and read on a regular basis is really key. So let me just say this. I'm going to give you a couple of things that you can write on. So the first thing you can write on is well, let me back up. I think that you should first take some time, in prayer and time with God and just kind of ask him some questions. And then he can also give you some things to write down. So for instance, and I've mentioned this in the group before, ask God to show you the heart of your husband or your wife, whoever you're standing for. Ask God to show you their struggles and their heart and how to pray for them. And write that down. Write down what God gives you, write it all down so that you can actually see in front of you that this thing is deeper than their anger and, them pushing you away and their actions. But there's actually something spiritually and emotionally probably going on with them that they really need you to pray for them for. Again, remember, this stand is bigger than the marriage. A lot of times, it's where we end up in the marriage is a product of what we bring into the marriage, our past and the hurt and the pain. And so writing down, what God shows us about our spouse, as far as their pain and their struggles and their issues, puts us in a position to show love and grace and puts us in a place of empathy where we can pray for them and not get offended by their actions. Do you have anything you want to add?
That's good. That's good. I like the concept of writing things down, getting it out of your system. If you have a lot of stuff in here, but you haven't written it down, then it's going to be hard to make sense of it. So taking what's here and here, I'm touching my heart's down here, taking all that and then putting it into, writing it into words on paper, I think is probably one of the most valuable things that you can do to help make sense of all of the stuff that's going on inside of your head.
Right.
Yeah.
And so even doing the same thing for yourself, asking God to help you to peel back the layers even further to see what things you're still dealing with and struggling with that you need to pray for and you need to release to God to heal you from. Because we all have things that we need to work on at all times. And so if we open ourselves up to that, God will show us. If we're willing to be honest with ourselves about, where we are and what we still need to work on, he'll show it to us. But again, we have to open ourselves up to that. So again, writing down that information for your spouse, again, their pain, their struggles, and how to pray for them. And then writing down whatever pains and struggles that you still have and how to pray for yourself and how to deal with those things. Okay. Something else that you could write down is, I know for me, what I did for David is I wrote down how I saw him, like, in a positive light. So I wrote down, affirmations about David that I used to recite on a regular basis, even though a lot of the things I did not see while I was standing for my marriage because he was kind of cold and distant. I allowed God to, even help me, develop that list. And once I started to write, it's just like it just came out. So, when I started to write, I would say things like, David is a strong man. He is a very smart guy. And I know that he is going to help so many people discover what their purpose is. And he's going to help people to understand God's love for them and why they were created. And I know that David is going to be a really great father. Even though we don't have children, I know that he's funny, he is compassionate, he's loving. And I know that he is going to be a great head of our home and household, because God has made him to be a mighty man of God, and he's a man after God's own heart. I could keep going.
Wow. It's a lot of stuff.
But
Like that.
I would just flow, and I would write these things down,
Mhm.
and then I would record them on my phone. I downloaded, and I've said this to you all before, I've downloaded a voice recorder for free on my phone, and I recorded myself saying these things. And so there were many times, it would be days in a row, that I would listen to this, and it would, encourage me. And again, when I looked at my husband, instead of feeling resentment or bitterness towards him, I was able to see who he really was, because I knew that the way he was acting was not really who he was. It was a product, again, of the pain and the struggles and things that he was going through. So I started to see him in a different light.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And let me see. If you need an app, I have a good one. It's called Evernote. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it looks like, let's see if I can show it to you guys. It's Evernote is, can you see it? Nope, can't see it. Okay. It's this little green one right here. It's like a little elephant, but it's backwards. And the light is, okay, there it is, a little better. But they just got this new feature that gives you the ability, here's what it looks like, this little elephant, that gives you the ability to record stuff. Ah, man, the light is in the way. But anyway, it's called Evernote. You can download it on your iPhone or your Android, and it gives you the ability to record your vocal notes, and then you can also write down. You can put it into different folders. You can sync it with your desktop computer, so you can download the app for your desktop, and then everything syncs. So whenever you put something on your phone, it automatically syncs to your desktop. Right. And you can archive all those into notes, into folders. So that's a good one to use, Evernote. But anyway, what else?
Okay, so just like I said, do what you did for your husband, for yourself, do the same for yourself. So write down affirmations for yourself, talking about how beautiful you are, how capable you are, how strong you are, how brave you are, how great of a writer or a singer you are. Write all those things down. Learn to love on yourself and speak life into yourself. Mm-hmm. And again, record that, record those things and listen to them on a regular basis. I really suggest doing that. Yeah. The last thing I'm going to say concerning writing and journaling is more specific to your purpose and what you're interested in as far as your passions. So what I want you to do is think of the things that you have neglected as far as the things that you're passionate about and that you enjoy doing, or a passion that you never pursued, that it's something that you would love to do, but you never did it because maybe you were taking care of everybody else for so long.
Yeah.
So that could be, writing a book, that could be, songwriting, that could be, going back to school, that could be exercise, whatever it is to help you get to a happy place for you outside of your roles as wife or husband, parent, daughter or son, outside of the roles that you play. What are the things that you're passionate about or that you enjoy doing for you? Mm-hmm. Write those things down, and then, make a plan as to how you can get back to those things, maybe one by one. Mm-hmm. Because, and, I know that we don't like to think about this, but if something happened to your spouse or, your loved ones, and it was just you, what would you do? Mm-hmm. What would you be doing? And so think about that. Sorry, I got some in my eye here. Sorry, I have some in my eye.
She's about to cry. It's okay. Let it out. No, I'm joking.
But yeah, think about that. So you want to start to think about your passions and the things that you like to do, and start back again, taking care of yourself and doing things that you enjoy, because that's how you build yourself up. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on that, Jay?
You. Today is your day.
Today's my day.
What else you got over there? How many more
I
points
think
you got?
that's honestly, well, I mean, just loving on yourself. I mean, that's huge. And I know I keep talking about you cannot give what you do not have. You know, and so all the tips, you know, that I gave you about, you know, writing down and affirming yourself, really, you know, getting back to figuring out, you know, how you can take care of yourself. And
sorry,
you probably hear our dogs in the background.
Yeah, they're out. We locked them out the office today so we can do the webinar, and they're out there fighting because they want to come in.
Sorry about that. But that's the main thing, you know, again, just recapping, looking for ways that you can give back. Then also getting out and about, you know, having a plan, writing and journaling, and, you know, figuring out what you enjoy to do and what you're passionate about.
And I want to add one thing. I want to give you guys an acronym. You might have heard us talk about it before. If not, this will be new. But this is an acronym to help you to mitigate the trigger points or mitigate the moments when you are triggered the most. And so I just want you to remember it's 4 letters, HALT, 4 letters, HALT, 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 stop, right? And so H stands for hungry, A stands for angry, L stands for lonely, T stands for tired. And so if you're hungry, and that could be physically or emotionally or spiritually, if you're feeling like there's something missing and you're hungry for that thing, you're more than likely to be triggered. It's easier for you to be triggered in a negative way, right? Angry, which is the A, and for a lot of us, if we're irritable or angry or frustrated, it's easy for us to do something that's out of character. And so make sure that if you're feeling that emotion of anger, then you protect your boundary, right? You don't want to be angry and put yourself in a compromising situation. L stands for lonely. If you're feeling lonely, right? If you're feeling like you're alone and isolated and there's no one there that can get you, understand you, or, you know, anything like that, make sure to understand that, be self-aware, right? Be aware of that, and then protect that moment. Protect your boundaries, because if you're lonely, you're more than likely to do something that's going to compromise your stand. And lastly is tired, right? And many of us go through that. You guys went through that. You guys may be there now where you're tired. You don't have the energy, right? You're spent. Make sure that you are aware of that so that you can protect that position, because you don't want to be triggered because you're tired. Know that you're tired, and know that you're more than likely to be triggered while you're tired, so that you can mitigate that by protecting that stance, putting yourself in a position to where you can get your energy, you can get your rest, so that you're not going to be easily triggered. So hungry, angry, lonely, tired, halt. Those are the 4 things that's just across the board with anybody, but mainly, especially with your stand, that if you are feeling any of those things, it's easier for you to be triggered. Right. And this holiday season is coming up a couple days, right? And you're going to be tired because it's a lot of food, right? A lot of people, a lot of energy. So making sure that you, like Mandy said earlier, you have a plan. You have a plan for that. When I'm tired, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to either go off for 10 minutes, take me a little cat nap, or I'm going to leave, or whatever. Go to the room and take a nap. Whatever it is that you're going to do, make sure that you do it so that you aren't putting yourself in a position to compromise your stand.
Right. Awesome job, baby.
Well, no, that's it.
Halt.
But yeah, halt. And so, and then also understand that we are here for you. Right. Okay. We are here for you. We're here to help you. Those of you who are in overflow already, you have direct access to us during the holidays. We're going to be spending time with our family and friends, but that doesn't mean that you guys aren't family and friends already as well. You guys are family. And so in those moments when you're feeling hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, or triggered, and you just need someone to communicate with, you have us, right? And for those of you who don't know what overflow is, obviously we launched that, well, we opened registration this past Thursday, and it's a website that you can go to. It's Overflow. I think if you look on the page below the video box to the left, I'm looking at it now, there's a little link that says Overflow, or you can just type in www.overflowme.com. It'll take you to the site. On that site, you'll be able to see all of the features of Overflow. It's a program that we designed specifically for standers, because everybody was asking for us to to give them something that was a little bit more focused. So you have direct access to us. You know, we do a marriage motivation plan. We do bi-weekly Skype sessions. So kind of like what we're doing right now, but imagine one-on-one. So we get to see your face, you get to see our face, and we're really giving you hands-on, individualized strategies on how to stand more effective and stronger. Right. Also, one of the key features on that site is we have a lot of testimonials, or kind of a handful of testimonials. I want you to go ahead and take a look at those. Kind of read what some of you are saying about Overflow. There's even one there that you can listen to. So play that and kind of hear what people are saying about what Overflow is all about. This program is really to help you guys. So if you feel the need to join, there's 2 different levels, 2 different membership levels, a basic and then an intense. The intense is where you get the marriage motivation plan, which is an 11-page document that's very specific to your particular stand. And then you also get direct access to us, bi-weekly sessions. But take a look at it. I want you guys just to spend some time on the site looking at it. If you have any questions, there's a frequently asked questions page.
I did put the link in the chat box just now as well.
Okay.
So you can definitely click on there and check it out.
Overflowme.com.
And then also, in addition to the features that David talked about, you know, like for those of you, of course, everybody, you're in the group every day. You know, I'll post a prayer or a declaration or encouragement in the group. And again, we have over 1,400 people in the group. So of course, sometimes people miss different, you know, posts that we put up. So as a part of Overflow, you'll be getting daily emails with prayer declarations. There'll also be song recommendations and an audio attached. So not only will you get the email, but you'll also get an audio attachment so that you can download it to your phone and you can listen to it all day. And you can get that encouragement and uplifting all day. So again, that will be every day, and there will be different themed, you know, emails. In addition to that, David and I will be posting weekly videos for different teachings that we'll be doing. Mine will be more, it will be motivation, worship, and meditation. So basically, I'll be doing a teaching on just, you know, drawing near to God, spiritual connection with God, getting to know who he is and how to trust him and get in right relationship with him. And then I will also be dealing with loving yourself and learning who you are and your self-identity. And then finally, how to love your spouse and how to take on a spiritual perspective during your stand. And so for each session that we do, we'll have the teaching, we'll have a worship session in the middle where I'll be playing relevant songs that are relevant to whatever I'm teaching, and then a time of meditation as well. And you want to talk a little bit about your video?
Well, I mean, pretty much we're going to be helping you guys to, for those of you who feel like you've lost yourself in the stand, what I'll be helping you to do is to find yourself, pretty much. And there'll be 2 main areas. One area is going to be helping to secure the emotional mental balance, because I'm a mental health counselor, so I'll be applying some of those techniques. And then the other focus will be helping you to find your purpose and to pursue your purpose. Because, you know, marriage is not about getting lost inside of it. It's about making like community better. And so what better way to do that than to help you to become a better person, but not just to become a better person for you, but for other people. What purpose? What are my gifts? What are my talents? What am I born to do? Those will be some of the focal points that I'll be talking about on my videos. And as you can already tell, the concept is to overflow you, right?
In all areas.
In all areas, hence overflow me. It's to overflow you so that you're running over, right? The more you have in you, the more you have to give. And it's unfortunate, but we find it, and we were like that, and definitely Mandy was like this, getting lost inside of the stand is very easy to do. And so what we do is this program is designed to help you to not get lost inside of the stand. And it's to give you direct access to us on a more intimate level so that we can help guide and navigate you through that terrain of standing. And registration is open for the next week. Well, we got another week until the 29th. Registration is open, and then the program officially starts. And so we're only looking for 50 standers in the intense program because our time is kind of limited in that area. But definitely, if you feel like this is something that is for you, go for it. If it's not for you, then great. We're still here to help. Just not on the level that you'll get with the intense package. But if you feel like this is something that, you know, you can definitely benefit from, take a look at it. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. But other than that, you know, we appreciate your time today. You know, we wanted to get in here and do a quick webinar. We're going to try to do these more often. We may even try to do something like this on Thanksgiving.
Or we may just do a Periscope.
Or we may do a Periscope, something like that.
On Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving,
yeah.
just so you guys can see our faces and you guys can know that we're here to help. We're here to care for you guys during your stand.
Right.
But other than that, guys, we appreciate it.
Now, if you do have, we can leave some time.
Yeah, I was just about to say, yeah, we appreciate you guys listening to us. Now let's shift to any questions that you may have. So
if you're in the chat box, just go ahead, and if you do have any questions for us, you can just type it in and we'll answer it live on air.
Yeah, so we'll give a couple minutes for questions and answers, and then we'll be done.
Okay.
So we're looking at the chat box if you see us looking over.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, looking back and forth from the chat, and you saw me looking other places. We have 3 screens here, by the way, so if you see me looking left, right, that's why.
Screens everywhere. This is like my superhero layer.
This is the tech guy here, David.
All right, so questions. Anybody got any questions for us?
Oh, thanks, Letitia. Calling us thebomb.com.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Stephanie. We'll probably most definitely do a Periscope on Thanksgiving. And so we'll let you all know probably around what time to expect that.
Yeah. All right, any questions? Anybody got anything? Questions, comments, concerns? Anybody got any questions about overflow? Anything? Okay, well, I know there's a slight delay, but if we don't have any questions, I guess we can wrap up.
I mean, it doesn't have to be just questions about overflow or this topic. Like if you just had a question that you want to ask us about your stand or anything else, we're here to answer questions. So we'll wait a couple more minutes to see if anybody wants to type anything in the chat wing for any questions, and then we'll wrap up.
And to, I guess, make some noise during the silence, I do want to say thank you guys.
We do have somebody.
Okay, well, thank you guys for, the purchasing of the books, being in the groups, for standing consistently. Thank you for supporting each other as well, because, we've heard a lot from other people that they really appreciate the support from each other. But we have a question. What's the question?
So the question is, when you say lose yourself, do you mean not to seem obsessed with the stand?
It's a good question. Yes, not seeming obsessed with the stand, but also on a deeper level, losing sight of your identity, losing sight of the direction for your life.
Right, your worth.
Your purpose, your destiny, your calling, your confidence, your story, all of that, losing yourself inside. And it's easy to get swept away by the stand and to get overwhelmed by all of the anxiety and confusion that comes. And so making sure that you stay balanced, and that's why we talk about staying balanced, right? So that you can operate and function from a balanced position. So
it says, sometimes it seems like I'm praying more for him and our marriage than anything else. Yeah. And so I can answer that. So in the beginning of my stand, when I really started trying to stand in a more healthy manner, well, let me back up. When I first started trying to stand, that's when I realized that I lost myself in the stand. And for me, what that meant was I was dealing with, depression. I was dealing with suicidal thoughts. I was dealing with all kinds of things, because every time David said something or rejected me, it took me down a couple of notches. And, then after that particular period, God revealed to me and showed me I lost myself in the marriage, meaning that David's word was speaking louder than God's word in my life. And so, so once I started getting that concept, I started trying to stand stronger with the help of God. But just like you, I was just praying for the marriage, and it was like my intention was just to get the marriage back. But again, God had to show me that this marriage was bigger than just getting David back or just getting the marriage back.
Because I can die any day, and then what?
Right.
I could choke on my food, and
I'm
out. And then what do we do?
But it was that. But then there was also a lot of stuff still in me that I needed healing from. There was still a lot of dependency that I had on David that really was something that I needed to place more on God. So I had to my perspective had to change you know, and I had to see that it wasn't just about the marriage, that I needed to pray for his healing and my healing so that God could become the real foundation of our marriage.
Okay, that's good. We got another.
What do you think about sex with a lost, reluctant spouse who has not decided for sure that they want to be committed to the marriage?
Oh, this is a good one. Oh, so okay. So, and Mandy,
I think her husband is actually watching in with us.
Mandy talks about this in the book. And we have a very clear line on this. We have a very clear line. So I'll say my part and then maybe Mandy will chime in. But so the line is this: if you don't feel emotionally stable enough to open that door of sexual intimacy, meaning if you have sex with your spouse who's reluctant and doing so makes things more confusing, then you confusing not just for them but for yourself, then you probably don't want to go down that road. Because you want to do that from a balanced position. For instance, if you're having sex with your reluctant spouse to feel loved from your unloving spouse, then you're having sex with a reluctant spouse for the wrong reasons. So only you can answer that. If you're having sex to feel loved from your spouse who's not giving you love, then you're doing it wrong. Okay. And so make sure that and this is why we talk about being emotionally balanced, because from that position, you could be aware of your motives. If you're sexing with your spouse so that they can love you, you're doing sexing with your spouse. You know, we adults here.
No, it was just an interesting phrase.
But if that's what you're doing for them to love you, then you're doing it wrong. What else you got to add to that?
Well, just piggybacking off of what David said, I've said to you all many times before how, you know, having sex with your reluctant spouse, it's like he said, it's okay if that's just a way for you to be able to plant, you know, a seed of love. But
meaning you're giving love,
you know, you just trying to give love. But if you're having sex and thinking, okay, now that we've had sex, I can put expectations on him now to do A, B, and C
or D,
then you know, then you are setting yourself up, especially if they have already said to you that they're not sure what they want to do. And you know good and well that God is still working in their heart and still working in you. And it's not time for you all to be restored. These are just steps. You just have to remember that these are steps towards you rebuilding that foundation of friendship and connection. But this doesn't mean that everything is fixed. So again, you have to just know where you are.
That's a good one. We got another one here.
I am spending the holidays with my in-laws. My husband will not come at all, and he and his sister just gave birth today. Do you think I should stay home and not go, even though he doesn't speak to his mother?
Read that one more time.
I'm spending the holidays with my in-laws. My husband will not come at all, and his sister just gave birth today. Do you think I should stay home and not go, even though he doesn't speak to his mother? I guess I'm a little confused about that. So I think this is Vanessa. I think what she's asking is, should she even go? Or is that what you're saying?
And let me look. I'm looking.
Oh, you're welcome, Jessica.
I'm spending the holidays with my in-laws. My husband will not come at all. I mean, if you're going to see family, that's fine. You know, just make sure that you're stable enough emotionally that you can go there and be around your family members and not be, you know, burdened by the sadness or the loneliness. If going is going to trigger you and make you feel worse, then don't go. But at the same time, if you feel like being around family and friends is going to help you, then definitely by all means go and spend time. They're still your family. You know, even though he may not be there with you, they're still your family, especially if they know what's going on. Now, if they don't know what's going on and you go and he's not going to be there with you, that may be a little questionable. So, yeah. Okay, what else you got?
All right, so let me look here. I think Stephanie was just making an observation, excuse me. She was saying having sex with my husband is when I got off track in my stand and lost myself emotionally. Wasn't ready, although I pretended I was.
Okay.
So she said sex made things confusing for her emotionally.
And that's good. And you know what, Stephanie, we definitely appreciate you owning up to it and seeing that, because I think it's when we don't see it and we do it that it causes more pain. But I'm glad to see that you're self-aware in that area, because now you know I can only go here if I'm going to be emotionally balanced. If I'm not emotionally balanced, then like you said, it's going to cause more damage than good. So good. What else we got?
Okay, Letitia.
Me too. I don't know. And then I got angry because I felt used. Okay, so they're just commenting with each other.
Okay.
Any more questions, guys? Thank you for those questions, by the way. Let's see. About sex. What about having sex to meet needs so he does not get those needs met elsewhere? Hey, Simone. That's a good question. Again, I think the answer is going to be the same, though. Really good question, but the same answer. Okay. If you're having sex with a reluctant spouse out of fear, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. Like if you feel like if I don't do it, someone else will, then you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Right.
And but you got to be honest about that. You don't want to have sex because you're fearful that if I don't meet those needs, he's going to go and meet those needs someplace else, or, with some other person. Because really what you're saying is I'm having sex with a person who can't control their urges. And so if I'm not there to meet it, then someone else is going to do it. And so you're only enabling that in the first place. And so you definitely want to make sure that you're having sex for the right reasons. Maybe we should do a podcast or something on this. Like, do you have sex for the right reasons? I mean, most people probably don't want to go that deep into thinking about sex, but for standards, you absolutely have to have that right in the back of your mind.
And I know that that's scary because again, you want to control that, but the key word is you want to control that. You want to make sure they don't do X, Y, and Z. But remember, this isn't in your hands. This is in God's hands.
Yeah.
So you want to follow his lead. So just like David was saying, if you are having sex with them out of a motive that's not pure, and don't get me wrong, I understand what you mean. I don't mean to say impure. I mean a motive that is not motivated by
self-preserving.
faith.
It's self-preserving.
Yeah, self-preserving. Then you really need to steer clear of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And steer clear of trying to control that particular area.
Yeah.
Because again, you can't give what you don't have. So if you were just having sex with them to meet a need, then you are very easily going to slip into resentment and bitterness and all types of other toxic emotions because you're going to feel used and feel undervalued.
And I'm gonna be real with you. Just because you have sex with him, that's not gonna stop him from trying to have sex someplace else. Just gonna be honest.
Hearing it from a man right here.
I'm just saying. I mean, and obviously men, we function a little differently than women when it comes to sex. But just because he's getting it from you doesn't mean he's not gonna be tempted to go elsewhere. Because remember, if you read my book, you'll understand that sex, especially for reluctant spouses, for most reluctant spouses, is not about sex. So that physical intimacy or connection is not about sex. It's about what that connection or what that relationship means to the reluctant spouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we actually have Jessica, her husband is joining us today, and he actually has a question.
Hey.
So welcome, Jose.
Hey, Jose. All right. As a man, feeling rejected causes me to close down even more and go into a cave, like mentally. That's been my problem. And you know what? Jose, I agree 100% with you, and I have experienced that. I can relate 100%. I didn't grow up with my dad, and so being a healthy emotional man was out of my IQ. As a matter of fact, I had a low emotional IQ because I wasn't taught how to properly be a healthy emotional man. And unfortunately, we're raised in a society by fathers, or like me, not by fathers, who we get from society that men are supposed to be a certain way, and we're not supposed to connect with our emotions like women do. And so unfortunately, when it comes to being a husband in a relationship with a wife who requires you to connect emotionally we only can give what we have. And if we don't have it, we can't give it. And so I think that being able, number one, you did the best thing is to acknowledge that you have that. And once you acknowledge it, I think the next step is to move to the next level of saying, okay, what do I have to give? What do she need from me? And what do I need to do to get that? Meaning, how can I grow in this area? What area am I lacking in? And how can I grow? What books, what resources, what tools, what relationships or connections with other people do I have to have in place so that I can grow in this area? You know, and a lot of times it starts with, like you just did, admitting that, you know, I'm struggling in this area, which is another thing that goes against man rules, right? As a man, we're taught we're not supposed to have any struggles. And if we do, we're not going to talk to nobody about it, right? So I think admitting it helps. Now, here's the great part about it. It helps your wife be empathetic in that area. So now she can create healthy expectations about your ability or inability to connect with her on an emotional level.
Without judgment.
Without judgment, because now she knows, and now she's heard from you that this is an area that you would like to develop further in. So now you guys can work together to develop those healthy expectations about how to handle when Jose is trying to connect on an emotional level with me.
And that's what marriage is all about. It's about both of you identifying what areas you're strong in and what areas you may be falling short in. And you work as a team to support each other in that. Not to judge, not to say, well, you're a man and you should do X, Y, and Z, or you're a woman and you should do X, Y, and Z. But we're going to work together as Jessica and as Jose. And we're going to work together to develop our culture and our house. And we're going to work together to make things, you know, make things healthy and work in our marriage. I couldn't think of a word.
Stuck. It happens. It happens. So yeah, good stuff. Thank you, Jose, for being man enough, you know, to talk about the stuff that most men don't talk about. I appreciate that. I have somebody else with me. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
We're definitely glad that you're joining us today, Jose.
Yes. Any other questions? And we thank you guys for engaging in the discussions and in the chats. That's good stuff. Anything else? I guess I'm looking at your screen when I could be looking at my screen. Okay, let's see. In words of wisdom, encouragement.
Standing while deployed.
Standing while deployed.
So are you deployed or is your husband deployed?
I'm assuming the husband is deployed. And you're welcome, Jessica. Now,
and Jose.
You're welcome, guys. Oops, any words? Okay, so Letitia, are you deployed? What the heck was I about to say? Letitia, are you deployed or is your spouse deployed? And if he's deployed, is he reluctant?
I think it just went through. He will be deployed.
Okay. Is he reluctant, or are you guys just looking to make sure that he doesn't become reluctant?
I think he is.
Okay. There's a slight delay. Well, I'll just talk as if this is what you're asking, but if he's deployed, or if he will be deployed, I think while you guys have time now to lay those seeds for developing a healthy foundation. Okay, he is reluctant. Okay, good. So you got to start applying all of the principles that we talk about in Mandy's book, in my book, making sure that you're creating a healthy and secure environment that's safe, right, for him to become emotionally vulnerable. You really want to spend time planting seeds now, because the distance could become an inconvenience, but it also could become something that helps, right? But it only becomes something that helps if you are doing the thing right now to plant the seeds, so that when he's gone, he's going to wish he was back home with you, right? And then when he's gone, that's when you guys are going to have to be very creative about what you guys do to keep the fire burning, right? Communicating with each other, conversing via Skype or Google Hangouts like we're doing right now. You're going to have to be very creative about how you communicate, when you communicate, and what you're saying when you guys are communicating. But before he leaves, make sure that you're doing what you got to do to plant those seeds. Make sure that the environment is safe enough for him to feel emotionally vulnerable, so that he's able to talk about some of the struggles, because you don't want him to go away and have all of this time and space to think about that. What you want to do is be able to set that environment now that you guys can discuss it. And maybe you talking to us, it will help, because I have more questions. I need more details to know exactly how cold, or if he even is cold, or how reluctant he is. So connect with us and see what we can do to help you out, because I think that, putting those things in place now will help, next month.
She said that she's planning to go overseas to see him when they are in port. So that's great. That's being proactive.
Yeah.
And so just kind of piggybacking off what David said, I mean, of course, if he is reluctant, he probably won't be reaching out as much. So going back to the concept of the one-way communication, it's not, now remember, one-way communication is not you just,
blasting his email inbox.
Just overwhelming him with everything. But, just let it come naturally. Again, you're rebuilding that foundation of friendship and connection. So as you overflow yourself and as you fill yourself up with encouragement and you start growing as a person, then you're going to start to pour out to him encouragement from that place. Again, remember, you're going to give what you have to give. And so when you do communicate with him, it doesn't have to be about the marriage or about, what he should and shouldn't be doing. But it could be, hey, hope you're having a good day today. I just want to tell you that, you're awesome, or, just something to encourage him or
well, you said a key word, friendship.
Yes.
And I think if you can work on the friendship now, it'll be easier to communicate when he's gone, right? Because you guys will have that friendship. And if he's reluctant, then that's when you get to plant seeds to help increase the level of friendship and intimacy that you guys do have. But I think the friendship is going to be where you start.
Right. Right. And just another piece to that is developing friendship, meaning it means that every time you get an opportunity or open door, you're not trying to talk about the marriage every single time. Right now, again, it's about the friendship and reestablishing connection, so that you all are looking forward to talk to each other. Remember how it was when you dated and when you were courting each other, how you were excited about that. So reestablishing that connection in that regard. She said she's going to the North Pole.
Oof.
My goodness.
Yeah. Nope. Let us know how it goes. Take a selfie. I've never been, and I don't really plan on wanting to go there. But but guys, if we don't have any other questions, we'll end here because we're coming up on an hour, and we want to be respectful of your time. Initially, we thought this was only going to be like 30 minutes, but we thank you guys for engaging in conversation with us by asking questions. Now, remember, you can go to overflowme.com to check out our brand new program designed specifically for you guys, especially those who are standing alone and need someone there to stand with them. Overflowme.com.
And remember, the group does have that 1,400 or more people in there.
Oh, she said North Pole cold. Okay. So you're not going to the North Pole, but he's cold. Okay. That makes more sense. Okay. I'm sorry. We read too fast.
I'll say the North Pole.
That's okay. But what was you about to say, Mandy?
No, I was just going to say, and just keep in mind that we developed this program because we've had a lot of people reach out to us, privately that said, okay, I love the group and the support, but, I know people in this group and I don't want to really talk about things and I want support and I want to talk to you guys, but it's even though it's private, it's still a little bit too public for me. So that's why we created this opportunity to have more of that 2-on-1. And, we have those 50 spots for you all to be able to take advantage of. So, and again, that's for the advanced. The basic is unlimited. So we can have as many people, as possible in the basic membership. So take a look at it, overflowme.com. Let us know if you have any questions. Registration ends on the 29th. We're only looking for 50 people. So once we get 50, the doors are closing. And I think we'll do a Periscope on Thanksgiving or something. So we will. So we'll let you know, give you more details.
So guys, we love you. We appreciate you.
Love you guys.
Stand strong. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And yes, we're out, y'all.
Deuces.